Hello out there, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another toy review, reminding you that it is kid-friendly, but not made for kids. And I would like to thank fellow toy reviewer TJ Omega, who also makes toy reviews that are not made for kids, for bringing to my attention that this was actually a thing that existed, because the toy stores in my area suck, and I hadn't even heard of it until I saw his video review. It is Ultra Class, Brawler? Yeah, Brawler, I believe her name is, from the Transformers Cyberverse cartoon. I was completely ready to write the Transformers Cyberverse line off as a producer of really shoddy gimmick toys, which did not look as good, they felt much cheaper, and worst of all, they compromised the looks, articulation, or transformation of their figures, all for the sake of pointless gimmicks. But somehow, it seems that someone at Hasbro actually had a spark of creativity and found a way to make actual good toys to celebrate the cartoon line. And we have this, which is an example of one of the figures which actually can stand next to your standard Transformers, making it collector friendly. Hooray! Okay, so I double checked my math, and her name is Clobber, not Brawler. So, anyone commenting that I got her name wrong in the comments below, I corrected myself, but I left the initial mistake just to see if I could catch you, so haha. Okay, so Clobber here is basically a female version of animated Lugnut. I mean, she looks exactly like Lugnut, just with this nice fuchsia and gray color scheme. Like, she could be Lugnut's twin sister, because she looks freaking exactly like him. And I absolutely love how the figure basically has no extraneous kibble. Like, you know, like, you're just not used to seeing a female Transformer that looks like this. Of course, there's giant hollow spaces. That's because this is the toy line for the cartoon. It has a price point of $20, so it's not exactly a collector grade figure, so it's a little bit cheaper on the construction. But still, like, even if she's a bit hollow in spaces, I am still super impressed with how good she actually looks, at least from the front, and from the side, because like I said, no backpack kibble, which is, you know, it's just not something that you see very often these days. Especially in female figures, because, like, you know, like, usually female characters have massive backpack kibble where, like, half of the vehicle mode is placed. So, and you know, like, don't talk about me how this is like the Thrilling 30 collection, because that happened in Siege. Remember, it basically happened for all 4 of the Limbots for the Elita 1 combiner. Alright, so reason why I said that this is actually fairly on par with any of the standard Transformers is articulation and posability. She has ball-jointed shoulders with a very nice wide range, elbows that can get a full 90-degree bend, and have bicep swivels. No waist joint, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I'll show you in the transformation. And she has wrists, which is funny. She has wrists considering that she barely has hands. She just kind of has claws. Although her gun is a little bit loose in her grip. Like, they should have made the little 5mm peg and the gun a little bit wider, like maybe by just a micron or two, so it would fit a little bit more snug. Really nice cannon, though. I like the glow of doom that comes out from the middle of it. No head articulation, unfortunately. It has to do with the way the figure transforms. But she does have fully ball-jointed hips with a good range. So they can go all the way forward, all the way backward. They can go out quite a decent amount. She has no... there's no thigh swivel, but the ball has just a little bit of a wiggle room so that you can bend her knees 90 degrees and have more wide-legged stances. So that's all well and good. And she does have a toe joint. It's mostly the toe joint is mostly for her transformation. Although I'm assuming, like, there's something that you would be able to do to make her easier to stand. But yeah, like, for a Transformers Cyberverse figure in the Ultra class, that is super articulation. I remember a lot of the early Ultra class figures were literally just one-step Transformers that had zero articulation in robot mode, and like they dedicated everything to having some stupid spring-loaded gimmick, like giant cannons that would come out, or like I'm a car, now I'm a robot, now I'm a car again. You know, like, and in both, my car mode kind of looks crappy, and my robot mode can't move. So, like, yeah, that, again, I was completely writing off the Cyberverse line, and then this beauty came out. Now, she is still a gimmick figure, which you've probably noticed because of that spring over her head. That's the only hint that this is actually a gimmick figure and not just a random, like, you know, larger action figure. So she has a little hinge here. You pull this down to activate the gimmick. And there's also a spring there because this door opens and then closes again. So let's just pull the camera back a little bit and show what the gimmick actually is. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, Energon armor. And like it does a pretty decent job of closing itself back up, but you know, just push it in. Yeah, that's not bad. And like she can still move her arms, so it's not like it's compromising her posability to do so. And that looks kind of cool. Now she has Energon armor. That's a nifty little thing. So it's a perfectly nice spring-loaded gimmick that looks pretty cool, and it does absolutely nothing to compromise the figure's look or posability. That's a perfect application of a gimmick, and I really wish that Cyberverse had been doing this stuff from the beginning, not like Optimus that had to sacrifice his right arm so that he could have an axe that swings out, or there's Slipstream figure that doesn't even have knees. Like, you know, this I like. Ooh, or like when they put out their Cheetor figure, but they put out a toy that should have cost $15 and sold it in a $25 set because he came with some gigantic stupid boat that turned into armor for him that, you know, like doesn't have its own robot mode and looks stupid and limits the figure's posability, but, you know, raises the price point of the set by $10. Yeah, I did not like the Cyberverse line before this. Like, the cartoon itself is good, the toy line for it sucked until now. But yeah, now that the toy line is finally good, I want people to go out and buy these toys to encourage Hasbro to make more like this and less like the ones from the beginning. Alright, so I stowed away the armor again so that, you know, it's not going to spring out by accident. And I'm going to do the transformation on camera because it's actually pretty simple. So the first thing you do is you take her weapon and you clip it back onto her head. This is cool because the weapon also serves as a lock. As long as the weapon is in place, the gimmick can't go off, so you won't set it off by mistake while you're transforming her. That's a nice little bonus. And her transformation itself is actually really simple. Let's see, I believe you just open this part out. Then this part comes forward, rotates around. Then the toes point. You connect these pegs on her ankles. Fold the hips up until they meet her unfolded cockpit. You know, there's no hard click. It just kind of rests there. Like, there's natural slots that fit into trowels, but you know, it's not like a hard click point. Then the arms rotate down like this, and there is a thing on the wrist that clips into the side of her shin. Yep. And, well, this isn't exactly Strike made from the Warpath mold. By the way, this is the transformation. The only negative thing I have to say about it is that she has painted kneecaps which are touching the ground. So for children that like to pretend they're driving their tanks across the ground, they're going to scoot it across the floor and scrape that part up. That's it. That's really my only thing, my biggest complaint, because I'm not really going to complain about Clobber's vehicle mode because she's basically just a heavy armored Cybertronian tank, which is fine, I've watched the Cyberverse cartoon, and I do not believe that Clobber is ever actually transformed. So, I can't really say that this is inaccurate. And even if she does transform onto the show, since she obviously doesn't have an earthen vehicle mode, she's not beholden to any actual disguise attributes. Like, hey, those are just your arms hanging out on the sides. Like, yeah, sure. I just kind of folded myself up into a battle mode that will allow me to function as a tank. I don't need to hide my arms for that. Also, you can kind of create like, rah! I am now the hover punch tank. I will shoot you, and if you get too close to me, I will punch you instead. I kind of like that. Nothing wrong with that. It's a perfectly serviceable thing. And like I said, it's like having some kind of abstraction as a vehicle mode is fine. There are no gimmicks in this mode. She is just a cool looking little hover tank thing with vague wings to let you know that she's able to fly somehow. But you know what? That's fine. This is fine. I like this. So, yay! The Transformers Cyberverse line is actually producing worthwhile toys! I cannot wait to get some of their actual good figures. Like, they are making another RC, so hooray! And if they make a non-gimmick compromised version of Windblade and especially Slipstream, I will be all over that. But for now, we do have a new female Transformer that's an actual good toy, and it's from the cartoon line and not the expensive collector's line that is Generations and Siege and all that stuff. So, me is happy. Alright, so before we end this video, I just wanted a quick comparison with another beefcake female character, which is my Generations Striker. And as you can see, despite being called an Ultra class, she is barely bigger than a Deluxe. I wouldn't even really call this big enough to count as a Voyager figure. It's just like a big Deluxe. So, I guess that's fine, because like I said, this is the cartoon toy line, and the warrior class figures from the cartoon line are a little bit shorter than mainline deluxe figures, so she would look sufficiently huge and imposing next to figures from her toy line. But like I said, it's fine. She may not be a full Voyager, but she's still fairly big, even if her hollow construction doesn't exactly make her heavier. I think this figure is barely heavier than this, despite the fact that it's significantly larger in volume. So yeah, that's it. That's my review of Transformers Cyberverse Clobber, which is a really good female Transformer action figure. And to come from the cartoon line, which I've been noticing a decline in the quality of the Transformers, which are actually supposed to be part of the cartoon lines, ever since Prime. Man, Transformers Prime had an awesome toy line that was easily on par, and in some cases even surpassed the main Generations line. But ever since the Robots in Disguise cartoon and then early Cyberverse, it seemed that the toys are getting worse and worse. And to finally see them back on an upswing makes me so happy. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.